Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill rolling right along right here on 106.1 ESPN. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick and joined now by Fred Stoots, head football coach at Matoaca, as they're getting set for the start of their 2025 season and August 28th kickoff at Hermitage. Coach, thank you so much for taking some time out of your morning to chat with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us, and thanks for all the coverage you give high school sports.
Of course, and looking at this season, going into year 4 now with Matoaca, how has that lead up been for this year compared to your past seasons?
Well, it's different this year because we lost a lot of players at graduation last year from a strong team that's been to the playoffs every year that they were in high school, and a lot of those guys went on to Division I level, and we had 10 kids signed last year, so that was a big accomplishment for our program. But this year's been a little bit different because guys who were role players last year now have to step up in leadership positions. And, last year you probably didn't pick them up on film because you're watching those big names, but these guys helped us win a lot of games last year. So now not only do they perform on the field, but they also have to be leaders.
Coach, you mentioned it, not a lot of returners, I think just 6 of them. So what is the process of reloading a roster like that? I mean, that is a lot of guys that you kind of have to slot into new roles, like you said.
No, 100%. We, a lot of the guys got some playing time last year. So we had a lot of guys going both ways last year. So a lot of these kids that we have now, sorry about that, a lot of these kids that we have now that are leaders, they're going to have to just step up and be those guys that you count on day in and day out to get a lot of playing time. So they attacked it in December after our loss in the playoffs last year. These guys got right back into the weight room, and they've led from the front every single day. They haven't missed a day. This is our best season we've ever had in the off season in terms of weightlifting. I mean, these guys really bought into what we were doing, and I'm excited to see what they do this fall.
So with that loss to finish out last season, you had against LC Bird in the regional semifinal. How did that kind of get you guys going, pushing yourself into the offseason?
Well, I think there's really only ever one team that's happy at the end of the year, because other than that, everybody loses their last game. So it kind of gives you that motivation going into the offseason to do better, to perform better. We made a lot of mistakes in the playoffs in that game and did a lot of things to hurt ourselves. And those are the things that really hurt, because it's stuff that you could have controlled, that you could have done better, executed better, or whatever your role was in that play. So these guys, they're motivated to kind of set their own course now. The Caleb Williams and Bryce Yates and Dale Newton-Shorts, they're gone. So these guys want to create their own name and leave their own legacy on Matoaca.
Fred Stoots, head football coach at Matoaca, joining us on this Wednesday, August 20th morning. And, Coach, with so many new guys, is the identity of this team kind of going to be the same, or when you bring in that many new guys, does the identity of the team kind of change a little bit?
Well, I think it definitely changes. I think we're going to look a little different on the field. We'll play a little different. Some of the things that we're doing offensively and defensively are going to be different. So these guys are definitely charting their own course. This team is made up to represent them, to really enforce what they can do and what they can bring to the table. So, I'm excited. We have Jay Penson, who's going to be one of our leaders, who last year was a role player, and he played every position last year. So now he's going to be one of those guys that doesn't come off the field. So he's been one of those guys that really helped us set the tone and build what we're going to do this season.
I love it. How's that quarterback situation shaping up?
We scrimmage again tomorrow. So, we'll have a firm decision tomorrow after the scrimmage. But, we got 2 good options. We got Stephen Ankiel, who's a junior, who's 6'2", 220 pounds. And then we have Cush Phillip L., who's a senior, who's athletic and dynamic. So, I'm kind of anxious to see how it shakes out tomorrow and who kind of seals the deal to get the opening day start. And you never know. I think they'll both play. But yeah, it's a fun battle, man. It's fun to watch kids compete, but still have a good relationship. So cheer each other on, but knowing that they want to beat each other out for a spot.
How does a quarterback competition like that impact the rest of the team? Kind of seeing the guys at that quote unquote premier position battle it out, but keep that friendship going. How does that impact the rest of the team?
Well, it's funny because it does 2 different things. One, I think it's actually brought us closer because they see this competition happening, but they also see these 2 young men getting along and supporting each other. So the kids are like, well, if they can do it, we can do it. And everybody builds each other up. And then on the flip side of it, all the kids know that no position's safe. I mean, if you want to start, if you want to have somebody's job, you put in the work and you show out in practice and in scrimmages, and you'll get your opportunities.
Fred Stoots, head football coach at Matoaca, joining us on this Wednesday morning. Coach, looking at your game on August 28th, we're about 8 days out from it at Hermitage. What does preparation look like starting now for that first game of the season?
Well, I mean, it's always tough. First opening night's always a little bit tough because as a coach, you're going through your checklist to have you prepared for everything that you're going to experience opening night. And I would love to sit here and tell you that everybody's always 100% prepared, but there's always going to be something that pops up that you haven't prepared for it. And then you take on top of that, you're playing a dynamic athletic team that returns a lot of players from last year, who's explosive on offense and defense. So, I mean, we're going to have our work cut out for us. So preparation's already, underway, and, we're trying to get right for next Thursday and see what happens when we go over to Hermitage.
What are the expectations for that first game of the season? What are you looking for as a coach?
It comes down to execution. Are we going to be where we're supposed to be? Are we going to be flying around? Are we going to limit the mental mistakes, the turnovers, things like that? I mean, it's at the end of the game, I couldn't tell you who's going to have, more points than the other one. But if we go out and we execute and we do what we're supposed to do and we don't turn the ball over, I think that's usually how people lose early in the season is they just make mental mistakes or, turnovers. So we're going to try to limit those things and go over there and see what happens.
Awesome, Coach. I look forward to seeing you guys ball out this season. Good luck, and appreciate you taking some time.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Of course, there goes head coach Fred Stoots at Matoaca, coming off of a 10-2 season last year, 6-1 in the Central region, and then they open things up at Hermitage on Thursday, August 28th, as they look to get year 4 going the right way under head coach Fred Stoots.